Welcome to another Fantasy Goodfellas video where we talk about the top 30 running back rankings for Week 8. Richard, you ready?
Week 8, let's do it.
The Fantasy Goodfellas.
Boom, boom, boom.
Rolling on the field.
The Fantasy Goodfellas. All right, before we get started, Richard, give me a recap on how you did last week.
Okay, if we take out DeAndre Swift, who did not play, we hit on 22 of the remaining 29 running backs. Boom, boom, boom. We've been very solid when it comes to running backs now, several weeks in a row. So definitely pay attention to our running back rankings.
All right, well, let's see if we can give them something to pay attention to. All right, let me explain what you should expect in our video. Richard's going to give his rankings. I'm going to use the stat machine to see if you agree or disagree with each of his rankings, and we hope that this will help you with your own lineups. All right, Richard, line them up.
At number 1, Saquon Barkley at Seattle. He's got a fantastic matchup. He's been solid all season. He's getting the touches. And number 2, Derrick Henry at Houston. Also has a good matchup. He just had 30 carries in Week 7. We expect that trend to continue. And number 3, Josh Jacobs at New Orleans. Josh Jacobs has been on fire. They keep giving him the ball. He keeps performing. We'll see the long-term outlook for the Raiders. But Josh Jacobs, you got to like him right now. And number 4, Nick Chubb, home against Cincinnati. And Nick Chubb just keeps being Nick Chubb. Doesn't matter who's that quarterback there at Cleveland. Give him the ball. He's going to produce. And number 5, Kenneth Skywalker, who will be home against the New York Jets. He's been on fire since Penny went down and he became the man in Seattle. He's done well. I think he's going to be Rookie of the Year, especially now that, unfortunately, Breece Hall is out. And number 6, Alvin Kamara will be home against Las Vegas. Kamara's been solid. He's been producing. He's got a good matchup this week. And number 7, Christian McCaffrey at the LA Rams. Until San Francisco, and I expect this to happen, until they start using him more and more consistently. I know last week was just his first week there. We'll rank him higher. He's in a better situation, but how much of the share is he going to get? Still a question mark. And number 8, Jonathan Taylor will be home against Washington. And Jonathan Taylor has not been exceptional this season. You know, is he playing hurt? We don't know, but you also got to consider his quarterback this week will be Sam Ehlinger. Now, Ehlinger might still be better than the shell of Matt Ryan, because Matt Ryan was horrible. And number 9, Joe Mixon at Cleveland. Mixon in that spectacular offense, again, has not looked explosive, but Cincinnati is putting up points. That offense is going bonkers, and he's the running back. And number 10, Dalvin Cook will be home against Arizona. And Dalvin Cook is fading. He was on a bye last week. The previous week played the Dolphins. Would have had a horrible week if not for like a 50-yard touchdown run. Okay, that was one good play, but he has not looked great all season. And number 11, Leonard Fournette, home against Baltimore. Fournette had a stinker Week 7. I think Brady will rebound this week. And, of course, that will mean more passes for Fournette, maybe even a score. And number 12, Raheem the Dream Mostert, who will be at Detroit. It's a fantastic matchup. We see Raheem is explosive. I am glad McDaniel is giving him the ball, much more explosive than Chase Edmonds. I'm glad he's the number 1 now in Miami. Detroit, again, great matchup. And number 13, Ramondre Stevenson at the New York Jets. Damien Harris played this week. It didn't matter. Stevenson still got the bulk of the carries there. He might be the number 1 in New England. We'll see. Belichick is funky. But for now, gotta love Stevenson. And number 14, Travis Etienne, home against Denver. And Etienne gets a big boost now that James Robinson has been shipped out to the Jets. So Travis Etienne, right now we have him at 14. He's got a tough defense, tough matchup this week. Denver is tough, but Etienne will rise, especially if he's going to get a bulk of the touches. And number 15, Aaron Jones at Buffalo. Aaron Jones just had a big week, but still the use of running backs in Green Bay has been sporadic, has been strange. We never know what that offense is going to do. We don't know how many carries A.J. Dillon's going to get. Aaron Jones, we have the same issue, right? For years, why doesn't Aaron Jones get the ball more? Buffalo's a tough matchup. Aaron Rodgers may need to pass a lot, so we'll see. At 16, Tony Pollard, home against Chicago. Yes, finally, I'm ranking Pollard ahead of Ezekiel Elliott. Pollard's explosive. He's got about a 50-50 share right now. We expect him to do more with his touches. And number 17, Miles Sanders, home against Pittsburgh. Sanders, part of another explosive offense that loves to run. It's just Jalen Hurts vultures all those touchdowns. Sometimes not much left for Miles Sanders, but still got to love him in your top 20. And number 18, Dameon Pierce, home against Tennessee. Dameon Pierce keeps getting the touches. He's the number one guy in Houston, always does enough to be in the top 30. We'll see if he breaks through and starts having bigger games. And number 19, Eno Benjamin at Minnesota. Eno looked good on Thursday night. We'll see if that trend continues. Is James Conner going to get healthy? Is he going to be able to play at some point? But for now, Benjamin's the guy in Arizona. And number 20, Najee Harris at Philadelphia. We saw against the Dolphins, Najee gets his touches, but Kenny Pickett isn't scaring any secondaries. People are playing up. Najee Harris not having many holes, not going to have much room to run. Hence, he's the guy that's trending down. And number 21, Ezekiel Elliott, home against Chicago. Elliott had 2 touchdowns in week 7, but still being outplayed by Pollard, who now has a 50-50 share with him in the backfield. So Elliott's trending down. And number 22, DeAndre Swift, home against Miami. Is he going to play? And if he plays, how many touches is he going to get? We know Swift can be big in an offense that has looked good. So we'll see. That's the only reason why he's 22. Expect him to be ranked higher as he gets healthier. And number 23, Gus Edwards at Tampa Bay. Is Gus Edwards going to be the guy now in Baltimore? He sure looked like it in week 7. If that trend continues, he's going to be fine. And number 24, Donta Foreman at Atlanta. Donta got plenty of touches now with McCaffrey being shipped out, and he did something with them. Had a good week. Week 7, I don't expect it week in and week out, but he did enough to earn our respect. And number 25, David Montgomery at Dallas. Montgomery scored. Khalil Herbert looked good too. Justin Fields may vulture some touchdowns, but if Justin Fields continues to play instinctively, play like he did in week 7, everybody on that Bears team, everybody's value is going to go. And number 26, Brian Robinson at Indianapolis. Robinson's looked solid so far for the Commanders, and his value is going up. We'll see how he does against a stout Colts defense. And number 27, Michael Carter, who'll be home against New England. Yes, at some point, I think James Robinson will overtake Michael Carter, but for now, he knows the offense. He'll probably get more touches as they ease James Robinson into this offense. So for now, Michael Carter is the guy for the Jets. And number 28, Damien Harris at the New York Jets. We know Belichick loves to run. So I think Harris will get his, just like Ramondre Stevenson. And number 29, Devin Singletary, home against Green Bay. He is the number 1 running back on an explosive offense, but normally he's an afterthought. But we'll We'll rank him 29th just in case he gets a vulture touchdown here and there. And number 30, Darrell Henderson Jr., home against San Francisco. Darrell Henderson is now kind of the number one guy with the Rams. We know Cam Akers is out of favor there. He's probably going to get traded. We'll see what Darrell Henderson does, but every time he's been the number one guy for the Rams, has not been exceptional, just been all right. And there are your top 30.
All right, let's just take a look at some of the other rankings and compare. Some people have Pollard ranked 24th. You have Pollard ranked 16.
Yeah, I'm high. I'm high on Tony Pollard. I think he's explosive. I think as Dak Prescott gets more acclimated with that offense, gets that rust out, there's going to be more opportunity for Pollard.
Okay. Dameon Pierce, you got ranked 18th. Some other rankings have him as high as 10.
Yeah, he's the number one guy in Houston, and they love giving him the ball. This past week, he didn't do that much with it. The week before, prior to that, he did very well. He's still inconsistent. I mean, that team is terrible. Davis Mills, I think that's what keeps Dameon Pierce's price, his value down.
All right, and then the last two, Gus Edwards, you got 23rd, and Deontay Foreman, you got 24th. Some other rankings don't even have him in the top 30.
I don't see why that would be, because Gus Edwards looks to be the number one back in Baltimore right now, and just like Deontay Foreman is in Carolina. So normally, if you're the number one back and you're going to get a certain number of touches, you should earn some sort of respect.
All right. Well, thanks for coming on here and sharing your top 30 running back rankings for week 8. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and you can always put it in the comments asking Richard some questions. Richard, any parting words?
Love your team.
Those fantasy good fellas.
Boom, boom, boom. Rolling on the field.
Those fantasy good fellas.